Mandela Effect. The Mandela effect is a phenomenon where a large group of people remember an event or detail from history differently from how it actually occurred. The term was coined by paranormal researcher Fiona Broome in 2010 after she noticed a large number of people remembering Nelson Mandela dying in prison in the 1980s, despite him actually being released in 1990 and dying in 2013. The Mandela effect is often attributed to the fallibility of human memory, with people misremembering events due to various factors such as suggestion, misattribution, or cultural influences. However, some people believe that the Mandela effect is evidence of alternate realities, time travel, or even a glitch in the matrix. Life is like a box of chocolates. The famous line from Forrest Gump is often remembered as, "Life was like a box of chocolates," but the actual line is, "Life is like a box of chocolates." Interview with a Vampire. The title of the 1994 film is often remembered as Interview with the Vampire, but the actual title is Interview with a Vampire. Jaws and the Missing Swimmer. Some people remember a scene in the movie Jaws, where a character named Pipit goes missing while swimming, but there is no record of such a scene existing. Sex and the City, or Sex in the City. The title of the popular TV show is often remembered as Sex in the City, but the actual title is Sex in the City. Bugs Bunny and his catchphrase. Some people remember Bugs Bunny saying, "What's up, Doc?" as his catchphrase, but he actually says it in only a few episodes. Febreze, or Febreze. Some people remember the air freshener brand being spelled Febreze instead of Febreze. Looney Tunes, or Looney Tunes. Some people remember the cartoon series being spelled Looney Tunes instead of Looney Tunes. Monopoly. Man's Monocle. Some people remember the character on the Monopoly board game having a monocle, but he does not. Sketchpad, or Etch-a-Sketch. Some people remember the drawing toy being called Sketchpad instead of Etch-a-Sketch. Curious George and his tail. Some people remember the character Curious George having a tail, but he does not. Chick-fil-A, or Chic-fil-A. Some people remember the fast food chain being spelled Chick-fil-A instead of Chick-fil-A. Fruit of the Loom and the Missing Cornucopia. Some people remember the Fruit of the Loom logo having a cornucopia in it, but it does not. Captain Crunch, or Cap'n Crunch. Some people remember the cereal brand being spelled Captain Crunch instead of Cap'n Crunch. The Thinker and his fist on his forehead. Some people remember the sculpture, the Thinker, having his fist on his forehead, but he actually has his hand on his chin. Smokey Bear, or Smokey the Bear. Some people remember the forest fire prevention mascot being called Smokey the Bear instead of Smokey Bear. Silence of the Lambs and the line, "Hello, Clarice." The line, "Hello, Clarice," is often attributed to the character Hannibal Lecter, but he never says it in the movie. Pikachu and his black-tipped tail. Some people remember the Pokemon character Pikachu having a black-tipped tail, but it is actually all yellow. The Berenstain Bears and the Stain versus Stein debate. Many people remember the children's book series being spelled Berenstain Bears instead of Berenstain Bears. Star Wars and the C-3PO's silver leg. Some people remember the droid C-3PO having a silver leg in the original Star Wars trilogy, but it is actually all gold. Now the Mandela effect is getting weird because this actually happened to me in the opposite 7 years ago. C3PO leg was 1 silver. The Flintstones, or the Flintstones. Some people remember the animated TV series being spelled the Flintstones instead of the Flintstones. The Wizard of Oz and the Tin Man's gun. Some people remember the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz having a gun, but he only has an axe. The Empire Strikes Back and Luke, I am your father. The line, Luke, I am your father, is often quoted from The Empire Strikes Back, but the actual line is, no, I am your father. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood and the color of his sweater. Some people remember Mr. Rogers wearing a red sweater in Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, but it was actually blue. The Bible and the quote, money is the root of all evil. The actual quote from the Bible is, for the love of money is the root of all evil, but it is often misquoted. The Simpsons and the color of Marge's necklace. Some people remember Marge Simpson wearing a red necklace in The Simpsons, but it is actually blue. Star Trek and the line, beam me up, Scotty. The famous line, beam me up, Scotty, is often attributed to Star Trek, but it is never actually said in the series or movies. E.T. the Extraterrestrial and the Reese's Pieces scene. Some people remember E.T. eating M&Ms in the movie, but he actually eats Reese's Pieces. Field of Dreams and the line, if you build it, they will come. The actual line from Field of Dreams is, if you build it, he will come, but it is often misquoted. I personally remember this. The Silence of the Lambs and Hannibal Lecter's mask. Some people remember Hannibal Lecter wearing a mask with a metal grill over his mouth in The Silence of the Lambs, but he actually wears a mask made of plastic. I remember that because I had it for Halloween. Fruit Loops, or Fruit Loops. Some people remember the cereal brand being spelled Fruit Loops instead of Fruit Loops. The Lion King and the line, Sex in the Sky. Some people remember hearing the phrase, Sex in the Sky, in the song, I Just Can't Wait to Be King, from The Lion King, but it is actually, It's Gonna Be a Mighty King. The Mona Lisa and her smile. Some people remember the Mona Lisa having a bigger smile than she actually does in the painting. The Twilight Zone and the opening line. Some people remember the opening line of The Twilight Zone as the fifth dimension, but it is actually, there is a fifth dimension. I personally remember this. Looney Tunes and the lettering. Some people remember the cartoon series being spelled Looney Tunes or Looney Tunes instead of Looney Tunes. Star Wars and the line, do or do not. There is no try, the line, do or do not. There is no try is often attributed to Yoda in Star Wars, but it is actually said by him in The Empire Strikes Back. Jif, or Jiffy, peanut butter. Some people remember the brand being called Jiffy instead of Jif. Scooby-Doo and the spelling of Scooby. Some people remember the name of the character being spelled Scooby-Doo with no hyphen now. The Berenstain Bears, or the Berenstein Bears. Some people remember the children's book series being spelled The Berenstein Bears instead of The Berenstain Bears. The Matrix and the line, what if I told you? The line, what if I told you, is often attributed to Morpheus in The Matrix, but it is actually said by him in The Matrix Reloaded. Snow White and the line, mirror, mirror on the wall. The actual line from Snow White is magic mirror on the wall, but it is often misquoted. The Brady Bunch, and the number of children. Some people remember the Brady Bunch having 5 children instead of 6. Apollo 13 inches and the line, Houston, we have a problem. The actual line from the mission was, Houston, we've had a problem, but it is often misquoted. I personally remember this. The Bible, and the quote, the lion shall lay down with the lamb. The actual quote from the Bible is, the wolf also shall dwell with the lamb, but it is often misquoted. I personally remember this. Coca-Cola, and the dash in the logo. Some people remember the logo for Coca-Cola having a dash between the Coca and Cola, but it has never had a dash. The Simpsons, and the color of Lisa's dress. Some people remember Lisa Simpson wearing a red dress in The Simpsons, but it is actually orange. Jaws, and the line, we're gonna need a bigger boat. The line, we're gonna need a bigger boat, is often attributed to the character Brody in Jaws, but it is actually said by him to Quint. Interview with the Vampire, or Interview with a Vampire. Some people remember the title of the book and movie being Interview with a Vampire, instead of Interview with the Vampire. Forrest Gump, and the line, life is like a box of chocolates. The actual line from Forrest Gump is, life was like a box of chocolates, but it is often misquoted. The Flintstones, and the theme song. Some people remember the lyrics to the theme song of The Flintstones as, we'll have a gay old time, but it is often changed to, we'll have a great old time. Fruit Loops, and the colors of the loops. Some people remember the colors of the loops in the cereal brand being different than they actually are. These examples of the Mandela effect are just a few of the many reported instances where large groups of people remember things differently than what is currently believed to be true. Some believe it could be due to alternate realities or time travel, while others attribute it to faulty memory or the power of suggestion. Whatever the cause, the Mandela effect continues to fascinate and intrigue many people. It's important to note that the Mandela effect is not necessarily evidence of alternate realities or timelines, but rather a phenomenon of collective misremembering. Some explanations for this include the influence of media, the brain's tendency to fill in gaps in memory, and the power of suggestion, and don't forget the possibility of group manifestation and brainwashing. Thanks for watching.